The amount of rogues on each team here, with Shadow Prank together with Fashion on Team Kragar, as well as Rin and Grifka on Team 2, is ridiculous. But Subtlety's about to get a pretty big nerf this Tuesday, so I guess his boys trying to get themselves a bit of a game. We also got ourselves Albedo, gonna be first up, charging out towards Team 2. Not sure who he's going up against. He's kind of just meeting him on the battlefield. Looks like it will be the rogue. It's going to be Rin getting off of the bat, trying to see if he can get over the massive secret technique. Big crit. What? I'm sorry. Is Albedo just dead? Was that just him? What? What? Was Fasca supposed to be first one? They're a little confused. Everybody's a little confused. Is this man supposed to go in? Because he didn't even react. I don't think it was him messing up, was it? Or is it? Wait, I'm actually just going to take that as a kill and just go with it? No way. Fast will open it up onto Ren. He's going to go for a Cloak of Shadows immediately. Shadow stepping towards Fast. He's going to dip out of there with a quick board. Set up a bunch of portals, but the Cloak of Shadows should keep him covered. Has a succubus on him. I like your little purple and red mug you got going on, by the way. This man is having a bit of an identity crisis. He got himself the Blood Fang look, but he also got himself the Wrath of the Lich King look, together with the tabard. I think it was the of Arcane as well. That looks great. Mordecai sent him. Stun into a Chaos Bolt off of that Infernal. Mad damage. Ren could go down. That's going for the Vanish. Gives him a bit of a shield to work with. Trying to see if he can potentially escape and skulk around the corner away from Fast. He still got a dot on him. That's going to be important. As Fast trying to use the Soul Burn in order to also give himself a bit more mobility. Going to be a second PCC as Ren trying to see if he can get himself a proper gun. Fast with a bonds on fell. Ren may just have to go for Cloak of Shadows. Their soul is getting stolen. Does not break the crystal just yet. It's going to go for that Vanish. Could pick up their soul. Should pick up their soul if they want to go full damage. Gonna be interrupt onto the fire. That's gonna be Fasco trying to find himself an angle. Mordecai sent in. Needs to go for the second PCC. Does establish a pretty good go versus Rin. Rin's gonna have to break the bonds, but has a Vanish for another Vanish for that one. He almost has had a Vanish for every one of those with a big secret technique, taking him out. Taking him into the realm of shadows, with Shadow going to be up next. Blasted out over Rin. Mad damage with the secret technique. Cheat death right after. Nothing he can do about it. Does go for the gouge. Someone's still alive. Wait a second. Did Tavi? Hold on a second. Did Tavi accidentally throw a judgment at the other rogue? Oh no. You know why I'm a little concerned? Because for my boy Rin, he was going for CC chains. That's the only thing that was keeping him alive between gouges, blinds, and all that. I think one of those judgments that Tavi's throwing in, thinking his rogue and his team died. He's thinking, oh, the rogue is so dead, dude. I could just go, right? I could just go, right? I think one of his judges might have broken a CC. I'll be able to go back and look, but I think my boy Rin might have gotten done dirty. Opening up with a massive secret technique, Shield of Vengeance as well as a wall. Does not Tavi survive this one? But that's going to be a big hit and run by the rogue. Hoping to maybe get a blessing of protection out of Tavi the next go. Gouge in order to try to see if he can swing around him. Does he have himself another go right now? Dance is available. May have a secret technique off of this one too. Tavi looking for recovery, but at 29% dampening, you're not really going to get much out of it. Cloak of Shadows by the rogue, using Shadow Step in order to stay on top of Tavi as best as possible. Does go for the cheap shot. Trinket with the blind. That's going to be Searing Glare. The rogue's next few attacks are going to guarantee miss the paladin. This is why the rogue is just gonna dip out of there for just a second. But if you have a secret technique, you're gonna not only be able to do a lot of damage into Bob, but even maybe blast right through Blessing of Protection. Wait, you can just end the duel right there. Before the guy gets a wall back up, this is where you gotta go. Get a shot, Blessing of Protection, you can still secret technique it. It still goes through Blessing of Protection, at least partially. The shadows are all shadow damage. Your main attack is physical, but the shadows are pure shadow, and they hit so much harder than the physical damage could. Oh my god, I don't even know if he sent it there or not. He might have delayed it, waiting for Blessing of Protection. He might have delayed it. Codge to follow. Trinket and the Kidney Shot reversal by the rogue. Does have a wall for this one. Did Shadow send the secret technique last time? He may actually have. He may have. I guess maybe just didn't do enough damage last time. But that's going to be Tavi's wall together with the Shield of Vengeance. Got himself as much recovery as possible as he's going for as many flash heals and Ward of Glories as he can. But the man is kind of limited to what he can do unless he can get next to the rogue and start building that holy power regularly and staying in combo with him, which honestly as a paladin you may want to do that. I know you want to get away from the rogue, but the rogue has burst, no sustain. So if you're standing next to the rogue, at least you can generate holy power regularly. And as long as you're waiting out for that big secret technique and have a defensive for it, you should be good to go. But Shadow does end up taking him out. Calvin gonna be up next. This is Kreiser with his good old Mog, dude, the old school Mog. Kreiser old school Mog on an alt as a Void Elf Warlock. Actually, the Void Inferential I imagine would be really, really good for Warlock too. just extra mobility. Succubus, you see immediately as the man goes in for a bit of damage, and Calvin is going to be able to, Chrysler is going to be able to get a couple of dots. Bonza fell available. That's a port as well with a portal on top of it. Shadow can't really do much about that portal. It's just going to add extra damage and deny him any kind of reset. This is where Chrysler is going to go picking up the eyes immediately. Is there Succubus already by the rogue? I guess he can hold it back a little bit. That's how we go for a restealth for just a moment. If you can get it to go for a secret technique or a Succubus CC very quickly, if the rogue is ever does not have an interrupt available or isn't paying attention, you may be okay. You do need to walk the Succubus away from the rogue to get the rogue away from the pillar, if possible. Does go for the interrupt. Succubus no longer has a kick. Calvin or Chrysler maybe could push in. Potentially. The rogue is still taking quite a bit of damage. Dampening is pretty high. Every one of these sipping cups is not going to be able to do enough. You're going to be an immolate. Portals available. Double the portal. Shadow Fury. I think you may just have him. I think it's over. Oh, just double portal with a stun. Locking him down. Nothing he can do. With Fashion going to be up next, man. These rogues. Back-to-back rogues. So many of them. Gouging the opener. Get a shot right after. Immediate trinket for Calvin. Immediately tries to see if he can back up out of this. The Succubus keeping the rogue a bit of company behind the pillar. He knew he was going to take a lot of damage, decided it's better to burn a trinket here and maybe a semi-defensive. Got himself a Succubus CC with an immolate. Rogue probably wants to go for a shadow step in order to get in combat. Is going to go for a cloak of shadows. It looked like a resell for a second, but no, just a normal Cloak of Shadows. Calvin trying to see if he can maybe get a couple of drains on him, just keeping him in combat as much as possible. Fear, as the rogue not going behind the pillar whatsoever, gives the Warlock an opportunity to at least have a go. Lots of damage with those instant casts. They nerfed the instants, but you still got so much pressure onto the rogue. Who's just going to go down. Most likely cheat death right after. Does not have an answer here. Oh, the Shadowy Portal does end up capitalizing on him. Chrysler bringing it back for his team with my man Kragar. Last one left, playing out the Arms Warrior this time around. So he's got himself a lot of burst. A lot of big go, not a lot of survivability, where Calvin is going to open it up with a Warbreaker together with a massive bleed of Dragon's Roar, as well as a Shockwave, leaping in with a Blaze Storm immediately. This man is going in lawnmower mode insta. You got to be very careful with the Succubus. Does not have a way to counter the Succubus Seduce. I always thought Warriors could do a Zerka Rage for it. You know, because you could break out of a Fear with Zerka Rage, break out of Sap with Zerka Rage, but Succubus CC is like a blind, more or less. It's like a big disorient. Can't break out of it. Does go for defensive stance. Try to walk out of Bonza Fell. Is going to be able to go from Pen Victory off of that Infernal. I was going to say Fell Elemental. I guess it is technically, but that's not the name. Krager's taking a lot of damage. So got himself like parry up right now just to reduce the damage taken by 30% to give himself a little bit of an opportunity. Charged over to Chrysler, but wasn't able to stay on him into a stun right after. Finally gets a lockdown on the Warlock, able to finally get a couple of bleeds in. Calvin is able to get a lot of instant casts as Krager just keeps slicing and dicing at him. With the Fear to follow, Zerka Rage right after, with a Succubus CC afterwards, gets a Casbolt. I think it's over. One bolt into Mortal Coil. Bonds fell, breaking the bonds. Oh, my man, Chrysler came back in. Oh, I love that mask, dude. That vicious, devious mask. Oh, it's so good. Everything from the weapon to the tabard, everything is classic about that look. My goodness. You know what? There's a lot of Destro Warlocks out there, and Destro's really, really good. But something about Chrysler and watching that man play Destro, the way he plays it, oh my goodness, it's just so good. Let's get us another one going here, boys, yeah?